The road we're on is paved in Garth.
Come along on the journey
as we explore
Garthology.
Think of it more as a conversation. I like that. So if this is truly a conversation, then I say let the conversation begin. Shoutout!
Hey everyone, it's Deb.
And I'm Pete.
And I'm Jess.
Welcome to the first episode of 2024 and the first episode of our 5th season of Garthology.
Wild.
Can you believe this?
No, that's crazy.
That's
5
crazy.
seasons.
Over 100 episodes, 5th season, nuts.
Crazy.
Look at us, going strong. Woohoo!
Yep.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year's.
Okay, we are going to start our 5th season by discussing the next album in Garth's discography, which was his 9th studio album titled Man Against Machine. Man Against Machine was released on November 11th, 2014 by RCA Records Nashville and Garth's company Pearl Records. The album marked Garth's return to recording after a 13-year hiatus between the last album we reviewed, Scarecrow, and this album, Man Against Machine. Let's look back at what happened prior to the release of Man Against Machine, just to give this album some context to the gap between Garth's 8th studio album and this one, his 9th. Garth had originally announced his retirement on October 26, 2000, because he wanted to be home while his kids grew up. In 2009, Garth agreed to start his first Las Vegas residency called Garth at the Wynn, but he only agreed to perform on the weekends so he could still be at home with the girls during their school week. The residency lasted weekends from December 2009 until January 2014. On July 28, 2014, Garth's youngest daughter, Allie Colleen, turned 18. So on July 10th, 2014, Garth held a press conference where he confirmed that he would embark on a world tour and announced plans for his return to studio recording, and the album Man Against Machine was the product of that return. It was his first album released digitally, available digitally only through Brooks's online music store, Ghost Tunes. The original release date was November 28, 2014. However, it was later changed to November 11th. Man Against Machine features a mix of traditional country sounds as well as contemporary, more rock-styled elements. To quote Rolling Stone magazine from their review of the album on the album's release date, they said, Garth Brooks returns with one of the year's best accidental rock albums. There's no auto-tune to smooth his rusty voice, so it's more weathered and honest than the man who left the spotlight. So a lot of time went by in between his 8th and 9th studio albums, and I think you can definitely hear a difference in the music and in Garth himself in the songs on Scarecrow from 2001 and the songs on Man Against Machine from 2014. To me, it seems that in this eclectic mix of country and rock, Garth has made a distinct break from his previous record company, Capitol Nashville, and moved musically to his new record company, RCA, as well as his own streaming service, Ghost Tunes. He's breaking away from the machine as discussed in the lyrics of the album's title song. So let's get started on today's episode by looking at that song, as well as songs 2 and 3 on Man Against Machine. Pete has song number 1.
Yep, I get song 1 off the album, Man Against Machine.
'Cause I'm a machine myself, but I'm one with a working heart. Careful calculations, details drawn down to design. Ready for the better or a better bottom line. So no need from man to man, it's rotten to the core. It's gonna get reminded, man, it's kicked its ass before. The gloves are up, no love lost between.
Man Against Machine was written by Larry Bastian, Jenny Yates, and Garth Brooks. The song was never released as a single. This album is 57 minutes and 43 seconds of some of the best songs. But to start with a 5-minute and 17-second banger like this was one way to come back from retirement. We went to every single possible world tour show that was in our area. And you can tell the way that song starts with those curtains coming up and they start to rise. I knew that we were going to be in for an ass kicking. And this show just kicked it off that way. This song kicked the show off that way. Like, it was really, really well done. The piano and the guitar are amazing in this song, but the rock sound and Garth's voice, it's a perfect match to everything going on in the background. The song's meaning between man and machine, how technology has really taken over our world, it was so well told in these lyrics. And you just mentioned, you can tell during that entire time of retirement, there was a huge switch in the industry and in this world in general. And Garth was very vocal about coming back to that. And when I listened to the song, especially over the last couple of days doing the research on it, listening to it over and over again, right? I find it on Amazon Music technology. I'm doing it from my computer, on my phone, all technology. It's crazy, and it made me reflect how much of my life is ran and controlled by technology these days, even more so now in 2024 than it was when he came back and released the album. And that was huge to him at that point. It happens with our phones, the computers, diagnostic tools in my business to diagnose cars. It's crazy how much man is against machine in this world. And this song tells the entire and perfectly told story with lyrics about how that happens in everybody's everyday life. You can't avoid it. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this song. I love that he started his comeback with a song like this on his studio album. What an amazing way to kick it off. But Jess, what do you think?
I love this song, and I agree. I remember going to all those shows, and always how it opened was such a bang, and you just knew that the whole show was going to be such a ride. Not that his previous shows weren't that way,
Sure.
But, you never know. That opening song is always important, and it really sets a tone, and I think this one definitely set a tone. I like the sound effects on this one. It's got those, I think, like railroad spikes being driven in.
Yeah.
And we talk about how Garth does so good with visuals and painting a picture with his songs. And in this one, I think the sound effects or the music helped paint the song as much as the words did. It's a powerful rock opera type opener for people like Deb and I who like theater and have seen a lot of things like that. It reminds me of that, of like a really good rock opera. It's a very Kiss. It's very theatrical, I think, which is right up Garth's alley when he gets in that kind of rock arena a little bit. There's lots of electric guitar and heavy drums in this one. And then it switches to acoustic guitar toward the end. I think my favorite sound as far as the music is there's a drum beat at about the 3/4 point that's like a heartbeat. And that's really cool because it's man against machine. So it's very much the human side of it coming out in the music, I think. But it's bluesy and soulful and rock, and it's got an a cappella opening. It's very gritty, and I always picture and I don't really remember specifically what he was doing watching the show as far as his facial expressions, but when I listen to this in my car or I hear it on my playlist in the house, I always picture like Garth stank face through the whole song because it's just that kind of song. Like that's how I picture him singing it. But then it's got the choir and it gets kind of softer for a while at the end and then revs back up and goes out really loud. And I like that. My favorite line from this song is where it says, "The machines are living the American dream." And I think you can very much look at it literally, like literally the machines, like Pete was talking about, like how much of our lives is technology. And then also the men and the people who run those machines, the Apple, the Facebook, those kind of things, like the corporations, I think is the machine too. And this song becomes like an anthem for the everyman. And I really love that too. That's a really powerful, and what a cool thing to be able to just do with a song in 5 minutes, Yeah. But anyways, I really like this one. Deb, what do you think about it?
Well, I'm going to start off my entire album review by saying I'm pretty biased when it comes to this album as a whole, because honestly, it's one of my favorite Garth Brooks albums ever. Like of all of his albums, I love this one.
It's so good.
It's so good. In my opinion, I think it contains some of Garth's most rock songs. And that's one of the reasons why it's probably one of my favorite Garth Brooks albums, because the heavier rock songs on this album are my favorite songs on the album. So this lead off song, Man Against Machine, it's like right up there. It's like number one on this album for me. I love it so much. So like Pete mentioned, I think this was a great tone for him to start this album off with. I think it proves that he was kind of breaking away from that previous record company. And this song is not our sweet and gentle Garth Brooks. And I love that for that reason. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love sweet and gentle Garth. And this album has that too. But in this song especially, he is kicking ass and taking names. And that just appeals to me. I just love him when he's like that. I think the lyrics are intelligent and so well written. And like you guys mentioned, it tells that man against the big kind of corporate machine story perfectly. I think the lyrics, I think they're pointed and they could, now, I mean, I think they could be taking a shot at the country music industry as a whole, calling that a machine. But I think it's also in response to Garth's battle with iTunes. Yeah. Because that was part of the reason why he created Ghost Tunes, was that whole, he wasn't going to go on iTunes. He still to this day, 10 years later, still has not gone on iTunes. But personally, I'd like to think that the message is more global than that. I think that he's showing concern for, like you guys said, how technology is invading our lives, even though this was 10 years ago. It's way more so now. And then also, like how Jess said, corporations are absolutely putting profits over people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big message from this song. And so when I listen to it, that's really what I kind of focus in on, and how Garth is trying to fight that machine. And so I say more power to him. I love it. My 19-year-old daughter, this is her absolute, without a doubt, favorite Garth Brooks song. And I think that generation, I think this type of message and this type of song definitely appeals to them more than maybe some of his other stuff. Also, people may not know this, but, in the lyrics, he mentions John Henry. That, there's that line, John Henry's about to show on the scene. He mentions him like three different verses. So in case you don't know it, John Henry is an American folk hero. And this quote that I found from a philosopher, I thought summed it up perfectly in relation to Garth using it in this song. So philosopher Jeanette Bickle said of the John Henry legend, John Henry is a symbol of physical strength and endurance, of exploited labor, of the dignity of a human being against the degradations of the machine age, and of racial pride and solidarity. During World War II, his image was used as a symbol of social tolerance and diversity.
Wow.
And I read that and I just thought that, again, that just points to everything this song represents to me. So I think that just sums up everything, the meaning of this song perfectly. And overall, I think the music is so great. Obviously, I think the lyrics are amazing, but I think the music is so heavy and strong. It's got, like Jess mentioned, that fantastic rock beat, the heavy guitar solos, the drums. I mean, it's all there. So with that music and those fantastic and challenging lyrics, I am all in on this one. Like obviously I've got a lot to say on it. I just love it that much. As Pete mentioned, when we saw his world tour multiple times over like 2015, 2016, 2017, and the show opened with this song, this is honestly, over all the concerts I've been to, this is my favorite Garth Brooks concert opening ever. I just love it. even researching for this episode, I went back and found YouTube videos of it.
Yeah.
It's just such a great opening.
It's crazy because I went through all of my videos and stuff, and we always record the opening of it or whatever. And on one of them, down in Pachanga in the San Diego area, we were down there and he was opening it, and you can just hear it, and it boom, and you could hear me in the background like, holy like, oh my. Can you believe I'm just talking about this opening because it's getting ready to go and the band members are running out and the smoke starts firing, and then it's got Garth's just shadow of him standing there almost like George Strait, where he's kind of there, but he's just got his head down, and then it's shining lights at different areas of the stage, wonder where he's going to come from, and then boom, it hits, and there he is, and the place went nuts. And I thought to myself, that might have been the loudest opener we've ever been to. It was wild.
Oh, God, it was so good. So good. And like Jess, my favorite lyric is but I'm a man with a working heart. And then it's got that heartbeat. That drum sounds so much like a heartbeat. That's just my favorite. But this song, without a doubt, makes me wish that Garth would just put out an entire rock album. I would just love that.
That would be cool.
Maybe he'll do like Dolly. And just maybe they'll try to induct him,
into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And he'll be like, okay, here's my rock album then.
Yep.
Wonder if we can get him to do a rap album.
Okay, no.
No, but yes, that'd
be strange, but I'd listen to it though.
What a way to come back from retirement and start off an album. So that's it for song 1. Jess, you have song 2 and one of my favorites off the album. What do you got?
I have She's Tired of Boys.
And I guess it made her mad. She said, don't call me Kid Pops, and I won't call you Dad. So I guess you could say, hit it off from the start. But that much difference in age, it ain't a question of heart. One day after work, she was waiting outside. She said, we gotta talk. So we went for it right. I'm tired of boys. I'm tired of first dates, and I'm tired of toys. I want a lover who will understand. Someone who touch me with it.
This is the second track off of Man Against Machine, and it was not a single. It was written by Garth Brooks and songwriter Amanda Williams, and it runs 5 minutes and 8 seconds long. And actually, there's a very cool story that Deb found about how this song came to be and how Amanda Williams ended up writing with Garth and working on this song. And I think we're going to flesh that out a little bit and maybe do an episode about it. So I'm not going to go into that right now, but just know there's a cool little story there, and we're going to get back to you on that at some point later, right? Right, Deb?
Yes, we are, because it's fantastic.
Yeah. Musically, this is kind of a soft sound, mostly just rhythm guitar and drums, and I really like it. It's very even. It's not a lot of up and down, not in a negative way, but it's just a very easy listen. It's not all over the place like some songs are, and in a good way. They can be up and down and you can have those crescendos, but this one is just like very easy to listen to. Midway, there's some electric guitar, but again, it's very soft. It's like a soft rock kind of sound. The melody is got beautiful background vocals by Trisha on this one, and great harmony as always. Anytime they sing together, it's just beautiful harmony. Garth's right down the middle, not gritty, not falsetto. This one's very much just Garth, like just the way I would listen to and tell somebody that is just Garth being Garth, right straight down the middle. The story on this one is interesting. It's about a young girl, probably fresh out of college, walks onto a job site with a bunch of guys, ends up in a relationship with the kind of protagonist of the song, who's a more mature man. I'm just going to say more mature because it's not kind to talk about age. He's an older guy. And after she tells him she's tired of boys and all the negatives that come along with dating a younger, less mature guy, this relationship comes about. And they strike up a physical and emotional relationship that continues long after she moves on from the job site. And that's alluded to by the lyrics. They just can't understand why she's in town from time to time. My favorite lyric is the one that says, I called her a kid, and I guess that made her mad. She said, don't call me kid, Pops, and I won't call you dad. It just sets up the sass and the kind of banter, I think, between them in a very succinct way. And when you're trying to tell a story and you're in a song and you have 5 minutes to do it, you have to choose your words very wisely to get your point across. And I think that was a very good way to show the tone of their relationship. Just brilliant, brilliant lyrics and very well done by Garth and Amanda. And I don't know who had that line, but whoever did, kudos to you. It was an awesome one. This is it's definitely one of my favorite songs off of this album, but it's one that I just enjoy a lot. And I don't really know if it's the music or the story more. I am amused by it for sure every time I listen to it, but I really love this one. Deb, what do you think about it?
I love this one too. I love everything. The music in it is so good that alone would be enough for me to love it. But I think what's even better than the music, if it can be topped, is the story.
Yeah.
It's such a great story song. And being a woman, I love this story from a woman's perspective. I mean, she's, like you said, she's right out of college. She's taking control of all parts of her life, including her love life.
Yeah.
Like, she's not afraid to work with the boys, but she wants to play with the man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I say more power to her. And then you get those racy lyrics like, okay, I'm tired of first dates and I'm tired of toys. I want a lover that will understand, someone who will touch me with a knowing hand. I'm tired of feeling emptiness inside. I want to be the one left satisfied.
Wait. Toys. Wait.
Yes.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that until right now.
She's taking control of every part of her life. And I say more power to her.
We need a music video.
Okay, we're not going to get a music video like that.
Oh, darn.
So I love it because it's an empowering song. And when you think about it, it came out in 2014. Like, there were no songs like this on country radio in 2014. That sentiment just hadn't been approached in this way before. And it's done so perfectly by Garth and Trisha here because it's a fun, sassy song. And you really have to dig into the lyrics to really think about what they're saying. And I think it's eloquently portrayed. The woman is frustrated. She's exhausted with all the disappointments and the heartaches that she's encountered in her romantic life. She's disillusioned and she just wants something more. She's heard all the lines and she's tired of empty promises and insincere gestures. She's just tired of boys. So I just think that's so great. And I'm so happy that they recorded this song. I love it. I think they're both fantastic on it. And overall, this is another one of my favorite songs on this album. I'm going to keep saying that. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. But this is one of my favorites.
I love, too, that this sentiment is coming from, I mean, I know Amanda helped write it, but it's a male album. It's a man's song. And that it's a song that if you just put it out there, I think with no artist attached, you would assume that it would be, a woman singing it.
Right.
If you're like, this is what the song's about and this is what it's called. But then the way it's written from the male perspective and then to be portrayed by a male artist, I think is just really cool.
Yep. I agree. What do you think, Pete?
I think a lot of what you guys thought. I mean, I'll go through the notes real quick. I love the song. I love the story. I love the duo with Trish, and I love anything and everything in between. My favorite lyric maybe on this entire album, I called her the kid and I guess it made her mad. She said, don't call me Kid Pops and I won't call you Dad. I love it.
Right.
Love it. The way the first couple word paints the entire picture of the beautiful woman walking onto a job site of men, she just sets the entire story and takes over the song. And I think it's just amazing. It's an amazing song that a woman could be what you would call a main character, I guess, in this story. Being sung by Garth Brooks, a man, with Trish obviously in the background. It's so unbelievably good. I definitely think I was looking at the songs and I'm like, top 3 for sure. Just unbelievably good. So damn good. And that lyric, like when just reading it here, I want to turn the song on and turn it on loud just so I can hear it.
Right?
So good.
It's just one of those songs. It really is, where you're like, well, now that we talked about it, let's just play it. Let's listen to it again. But before we do that, let's move on to our third song off the album. Deb has that one for us. Deb, what have you got?
I do. Song number 3 on Man Against Machine is Cold Like That.
I could be the train for a change. You could be the one signed to the track. Maybe wouldn't it be nice just to plow through life? Fall in love, cause a crash, walk away without a scratch and crush hearts like ice. I wish I could be cold like that, so cold like that.
Cold Like That was written by Stephen Lee Olson, Melissa Pierce, and Chris Wallen. The song's lyrics tell a tale of heartbreak and intense emotional distance. The protagonist reflects on a relationship that's turned cold, describing the emotional distance between the two who were once close. The metaphor of the emotional coldness of love gone wrong is cleverly conveyed in the lyric, "Crush hearts like ice," which perfectly describes the starkness of this love story gone wrong. But my favorite lyric from Cold Like That is, "I could be the train for a change, you could be the one tied to the track." The power in that lyric just shows how much the narrator of this song is suffering. He has constantly been in a vulnerable position in the relationship, and he's just done being run over. So that lyric gets me every time. It's honestly one of my all-time favorite lyrics in all of Garth's songs. So I love it. It's another song on this album that I love. I think Garth's vocal performance in Cold Like That effectively conveys the pain and longing expressed in the lyrics. I think the arrangement is so well done. It's got that mix of acoustic and electric instruments, and it just complements like this angry mood of the lyrics so perfectly. And while Cold Like That may not have been released as a single, it is one of the tracks that contributed to the diversity of this album as a whole. I think it captures like the essence of a traditional country storytelling, but it incorporates so many elements of rock that I just think, again, it helps this be almost a rock album. Like Rolling Stones said, it's like an accidental rock album. So that's my thoughts. Now it's your turn, Pete. What are your thoughts on Cold Like That?
So Cold Like That, my thoughts are pretty simple. It's my least favorite song on the album.
What?
But a song that I so thoroughly enjoy still. It's like, and it was so hard to come up with like saying that, but I don't dislike any song on this entire album. They're all amazing. But I guess listening to the album, this was the one that I didn't necessarily know every lyric to. If I was singing along and somebody turned down the volume, I'd be like, blah, 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 blah. At some points, I wouldn't know it. And that's the only reason why I rated it that way. I love the piano in the song. I love how the piano kind of just grabs you and then moves you or takes you along for the ride. This song, for some reason, almost makes me think like it's the back end or the part 2 of the song That Summer. If you think about it, that summer, we'll just call it a wild relationship, right? And they're all love, everything's all going great or whatever the case is. And then you take something that dynamic and it doesn't work out and it just gets very, very cold between two people very, very quick. And this is it. Like this could be that. I don't know. I just thought about it that way. I thought, that's a complete opposite of, that summer relationship and this one. But, and Deb, like you said, you can hear the suffering in the voice from the person that's telling the story through the entire song. It's got that rock feeling to it. I love the ending as the guitar and the instruments take it out. It is a really, really good song. It's hard to say that it's the one I least like off the album, but it's still so good. This album was so good. The song was so good. I don't know. Jess, what's your thoughts on it?
I love it. I love the piano, like you said, the piano opener. I like how it's very quiet and then it bursts into this wave of action and crescendo, and then it goes back to quiet again. And like you said, you kind of can't help but be pulled up and down with it. So I get what you're saying about being pulled along by the piano, because I did have that in my notes too. And personally, when music does that, I get this like anticipation for the next rise or fall, because I know it's coming when it's done that before, and you wait for the next moment. And I like that. I think it's compelling in a song. This one's kind of all over the place melodically, because it goes from a really quiet falsetto sound to this full-on grit, and then it goes back to almost a whisper so fast I almost get like musical whiplash trying to follow it, because it's all over the place, but it works like in the very best way. Like, I don't mean that in a negative way. It makes it interesting, I think, musically. And then there's great lyrics in this song, and I picked the same one that you talked about, Deb, where it says, I could be the train for a change, you could be the one tied to the track. Because who's never wanted to shift the power dynamic in a relationship before? You know, who's never wanted to care just a little bit less so that you could protect yourself a little bit more from someone, especially if you know you're about to get hurt and you just want to flip that a little bit. The line that says, fall in love and cause a crash, walk away without a scratch. I'm just so struck by how many of Garth's songs have these really just lyrically smart moments. If you compared to so many other artists, I think there's, a handful, maybe a little bit more of like very, very good, not even good, that's not the best word for it, but just like amazing, brilliant songwriters. But they're so rare, and there's brilliant moments throughout their careers. But I think if you stacked them all up and sat them side by side, proportionally, Garth's music just lyrically is so smart. It would have to stack up higher than the majority of other artists, I think, even though there's other people that definitely have those moments too. I'm like, we talk so much about how this song has brilliant lyrics and this song has brilliant lyrics, and he helps co-write a lot of them. But I think because he's an amazing songwriter, but he also has the ability to choose very good songwriters and that are a good fit for him as well. That was a whole lot of talking, but I'm just so thoroughly impressed by that, by his ability to either write it or hear it and recognize it and be like, that's got to be on my album. But yeah, this is a really good one. I haven't really thought about ordering them though, so I don't know where it would fall on my list of favorites for that whole album. But I do know that I enjoy the song.
Me too. And I agree with you completely on the lyrics thing. I think if you look at his albums back to back, all the way from the beginning until now, he just has some of the smartest lyrics. Like, they're so intelligent. They're so like chef's kiss perfect. So many of them, because there's twists and turns and things you would never think of. And I think this album as a whole is filled with them.
Yeah.
I think there's so many really brilliant songwriting moments on this album. So I have been waiting to review this album. I'm so excited that we're here because I just love it. And Pete, I also wanted to go back to something you said where you talked about how this one could be like the end of that summer story. Like, this is if, hey, what if everything went wrong? Another thing to think about is the song that Jess talked about, She's Tired of Boys. That could be the opposite of that summer, because instead of the young boy and the older woman, now you've got the young woman and the older man.
Yep.
So yeah, it's funny. You said that, and that was where my brain went. So like I said, I'm so looking forward to the next few episodes and reviewing this album, because I think it's fantastic. And I think we're going to have a lot more of these moments where we say, listen to this brilliant lyric.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Me too.
It's crazy because with it, listening to this, obviously, I put Time Traveler on the background and started listening to this one. And now I started thinking to myself, it's going to be so hard to go away from this back to Time Traveler, because I'm enjoying going over this entire album again for the podcast. So it's so good. I love
this one. This one, I always go back to this album. All right, everyone. That's it for this episode. The first part of our Man Against Machine review, covering songs 1, 2, and 3. Now let's go over to Pete for a shout out to one of our favorite garthologists.
Shout outs.
This week's shout out goes to, and excuse me if I don't get this correct, but I'm going to do my best. It goes out to Pryorgard Savon from Denmark. He posted on the year-end review about how he enjoys the podcast and how it makes it easy for him to get Garth info when the music in Denmark isn't so easy to get. So, my friend, we appreciate the kind words that you sent us, and keep listening and let us know if there's anything else we can help get to you.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your kind words.
Thank you so much. It was so kind of you to take the time to send us that kind of feedback. We love it so much, and we appreciate it.
Have you checked out our website at garthology.com yet? If not, stop by today and check out our past episodes and bonus content. And remember to subscribe to our podcast on your podcast platform of choice. Hey, if you listen on Apple Podcasts, it's been a really long time since our last review. If you get the chance, please stop by, hit that 5-star button, and do up a write-up to encourage others to listen. Then be sure and share us with everyone you know. That way you can help your friends in low places become Garthologists too.
And speaking of friends in low places, if you guys are on social media and want to interact with us there, we are at facebook.com/garthologycast, and you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok, all at garthologycast. So we appreciate the likes, the tweets, the retweets, the threads, the this, the that, and all the messages. So keep staying there, keep supporting us, and keep interacting. We really, really enjoy it.
And you can hear new episodes of Garthology on the 7th, 17th, and 27th of each month. Please join us for our next episode. And until then,
thanks for joining us for another episode of Garthology. And I'm Deb.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Jess. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. And remember, love will always win.
Finish it! Finish it!
Bloopers.
We can hurry, but you're wearing a tank top.
I know. Well, I was in the living room with the fire.
Oh, got it. Okay. Get yourself a blankie.
I'll use Bo's Peter Pan blankie.